All right, guys, welcome back to Victor's famous rants. ASAP Elite. Wanted to talk to you guys today about something that sometimes it happened today. I mean, it happens a lot. It happens a lot of times, but and I want you guys to kind of understand the importance of it, not just like, I want you guys to see it from the other side, from the customer's end. So, being late and non-communicative. I just want you guys to kind of start to understand the psychology of the customer when they order this. So let's start with moving. So when a customer is moving, they say it's the third most stressful time of their life after a death and a divorce. So that's some pretty high competition. So these guys are already super stressed out enough, high on edge, ready to just, be upset. At anything is just going to trigger them. They've already been stressing about this move for months. Usually, they usually know that they're moving in for months, a while, especially if it's an unexpected move or whatever. So they're already on edge, and you not being communicative and not showing up, is very disheartening to them, to say the least. A lot of them are understanding, especially if you give them enough time, like especially the night before. Hey, you know what? I know I'm supposed to be there at 8 a.m. I'm probably gonna have to push that back to 11 because of this, that, and the next. But you guys just don't show up at 8 and don't tell them, and then show up at 11. They are always going to be livid. Always going to be livid. They've taken time off work, so they're losing money. They have to give the keys to the next owner by a certain time that day, so they only have that certain amount of window to get all this stuff done. So put yourself in their shoes, and they're paying you hundreds, if not thousands, or whatever the case may be, however the move is. They're paying you a lot of money. So when they're paying for a service, you're not doing them a favor. And always remember that. When somebody pays you, that's not a favor. That's a transaction. That's a business transaction. That's a contract almost. So that being said, I was talking to a guy today. I'm like, hey man, you got to tell the customers, oh, well, it's only like a couple hours, man. What's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal. I understand things happen, but you got to tell the customer this. It's only 2 hours to you, but how would you like it, if you're paying somebody hundreds of dollars an hour and you're losing money that day to take care of this, and this is your only day, and the guy keeps pushing you back and doesn't communicate. Of course you're not going to like it. So keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. The customer's going to be pissed. And that goes for, not as much, but it goes for junk haul and deliveries. So, junk hauls, maybe they set that, that Friday aside, they took it off work, and they want that stuff gone. They don't want to get pushed back, keep getting pushed back. It's a little easier to push those back. They're a little more understanding. They're not as stressful as the moves. But they want that stuff gone, and they're paying you for it, and this is their time that they want to do it. And, we agreed to it. You did, I did, or whatever. You know what I mean? The company did. So it's always good just to keep that in line, or at least keep the lines of communication open if there's any unforeseen things or a delay or whatever the case. Just keep that communication open with them. Deliveries, it's always try to be there on time as well, because they're doing something like from a store or from another person, so they have to coordinate that. So try to keep to that timeline, or keep in communication and as much notice as possible if there's any delays or any further unforeseen things. So just be kind to them. Like, think about it if you were buying a couch and the guy's like, oh, he's gonna be there at 9, so you get up extra early, you take your time off work or your freaking day off, and it's like, that's the, you don't want to be sitting there waiting on this guy that you're supposed to be paying a couple $100 to go deliver your couch 50 miles. You don't want to be waiting there. You know what I mean? Like, you could be doing something else. You could be doing some other errands or grocery shopping, and then come back to it in a couple hours when he says it. So try to keep the timeline, and this goes for any business. It shows professionalism it shows everything. And when people say, oh, this is not a big deal, well, it kind of is. And this, you know, and if you keep being late, you know, we always try to give a window, you know, and it's not that hard to keep to a schedule. And, you know, the mentality of the customer, you know, if the customer had you waiting 2-3 extra hours, how happy would you be? Imagine you got to a delivery and the customer wasn't there for 2 or 3 hours. You got stuff to do. You don't want to be sitting there all day waiting on this guy. Vice versa. That's how you want to look at it, and it'll help you. And, you know, being early is not a bad thing. I'm not saying be there, you know, 3 hours early, but be like 20-30 minutes early, you know what I mean, for unforeseen things or whatever. And the customer's going to appreciate that. It's going to get you a better tip. It's going to show a lot more professionalism. The day's going to go by smoother. And as soon as you start off the day with you being late, they're going to find reasons to just be grumpy at you. They're going to find flaws in your technique, in your work ethic, in your everything. So it's just starting off on the wrong foot. So keep that in mind. You know, put yourself in the consumer's shoes for a second. You're paying this company, you're paying this guy, you're paying this for the service. You want it, you know, when they said they're going to do it, and you want a clear communication about it. So just keep that in mind. You know, when you guys are doing it, it's very, very important you be there on time, or communicate with the customer, or with us, or, you know, or whichever, you know. And this goes for any company, you know, especially the service industry. You know, be respectful of people's time. So, all right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Victor, I'm out. Thank you.